So for my review of episode 2, season 2, episode 2, I've decided to bring in two guests who played a prominent role in this particular episode. So number one is Aaron. So Aaron's been my right-hand man for a long time. He's a huge part of Western Combatives. He required self-defense skills because of his job. Aaron's been, he's been training with us almost from the beginning. You know, I think he started 6 months into our 15, 16-year tenure. So he's been at it a long time, and a big person who never hesitated to jump in drills, and no matter how crazy it was, Aaron was always there. And our other person here to review is Matt. So Matt was in season 1. Matt's the same as Aaron. He's been there from the start. I remember Matt as a 16-year-old kid. My story about Matt is I remember he could go. We were doing the circle drill. I think it was about 15 years ago. We had this big guy in there who was pummeling everyone, and all the attackers were all hesitant, but not Matt. Matt is a 15, 16-year-old kid. I can't remember, he always jumped in and lit this guy up. And from that moment on, I knew this guy's got it. And so Matt has been with us a while, you know, from reality check self-defense. So they both bring interesting insight, particularly Matt as a contestant. I probably should have asked more questions about that. But anyway, here they are. All right, so welcome, Matt and Aaron. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure. And again, I just want to shed a little light on the work behind the scenes and the things that you guys did, because without you guys, the event doesn't happen. You know, you played an integral part, particularly in this episode. So that's why I've invited you on board to give your insight. You know, you have a lot to add to this. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen. So we'll play this and have some discussions whilst it's playing. So Windows Media Player, there's the one. All right. Here we go. So episode 2, scenario. So Lou's Tavern, number 1. If you don't know what Lou's Tavern is, go and research it. There's a bit of a story behind that. So Lou's Tavern is a famous pub. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is. Actually, that can be the second question for the giveaway. Today's question for the giveaway is, where is Lou's Tavern from? So make that reference. But why I've also paused it here is this little quote from Jeff Chan. So he's basically saying this felt like, you know, he was in a fight. It felt for real. He had the adrenaline. And that's what our biggest job to do is, my biggest job as an instructor, is to try and make people feel this way in the drills to, again, get it close to reality. And that's pretty tough to do, particularly for someone as experienced as Jeff. And to know that this particular scenario did that is great. Our bouncers, one of them was a cameo from season 1, but I'll stop there for now. Matt, maybe you can talk through this.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I was thinking, I just maybe pause it there. The biggest thing I was thinking as Jeff walked up to me, I was thinking to myself, I don't have a helmet on, and I'm really not being particularly threatening. Like, I'm yelling a little bit. Surely he's not going to punch me, but then I got punched straight in the mouth, and I think just did not see that coming at all. You know, yeah. Kudos to him for the aggression, but I was also taken back by that. I was very shocked. I was like, what? Jeff? Come on, man. But
yeah. And he didn't even have a mouth guard in either.
Yes, true. I didn't have a mouth guard in. That being said, fair enough. He didn't know that. And I think he was just trying to win because he didn't want to accidentally lose points somewhere. But all I'm saying is that took me by surprise, and I didn't see that coming at all. I was on the floor and I was just thinking, wait a second, what just happened? I just yelled at him a little bit, but it's good to see that he has that preemptive strike capabilities in there somewhere. At least he's got that dog in him.
Yeah, and I've got one thing to add here. So just to clear up, so a lot of the comments are stating that there's a beef between, like, Jeff maybe doesn't like you for some reason, or there's a beef there. Now, do you want to shed some light on that? I didn't see it for one, but yeah.
Yeah, so basically, definitely beef. I actually messaged his mother and I told her that her son is a drop kick. No, I'm kidding. No beef between me and Jeff. I probably looked like it because maybe the expression on his face made it look like he wanted to hurt me, and he punched me a little bit there when I didn't have the mouth guard in. But it's all part of the scenarios, you know, as the in getting hurt by putting ourselves and putting our hands up to do that job. So all good, Jeff. Love you, buddy. You hit hard, and no drama.
I'll keep it going. So yeah, this is just the preview. Again, the participants, nothing exciting here. But one thing about the bar scene is it was a lot of work to set it up. And so that's what I guess is overlooked. People don't realize the things that go on behind the scenes. To set that bar up, it took me weeks. Like I was out driving around the countryside, buying pool tables, getting posters printed and everything, and the DJ and all that stuff. And yeah, as I said in the last one, I had it all set up. It was looking great. I just thought, it actually looked like a functioning bar. And then I think about a week before it went on, I got a notification to get all my stuff out of that building. Someone wants to rent it. And it was Father's Day. So I was there from 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. that day trying to hide and put the stuff in other parts of the building where people wouldn't see it. And it was a bit of a nightmare, but there's so much attention to detail there. Like, the bar runner, we've got a cash register, all the rest of it. There's that shot. Was it a big shot? Out of 10.
He did he definitely pulled the punch 100%. It wasn't a full power punch. I dropped because I knew that if Jeff Chan did punch me as hard as he could, I would have been out. So he definitely pulled it for the spirit of the exercise. I think he just wanted to show that he could kill me if he wanted to, and he definitely could have.
So yeah, this little scenario was cool. And what the whole sort of theory behind these scenarios, what I've tried to do is season 1, I wanted to make them a bit more cerebral. So I wanted people to think about it, to think on their feet. But this time, we went sort of lowball and we went for action. So that's where I wanted to make it look like a video game, one of them old school ones where you walk through a room and there's like a question mark or a box over there, and you go to that question mark and then something unfolds there. Then you move to another part of the room. And I wanted to sort of look like that. And also for time management, like 4 in one big hit instead of one, just get them all over and done with. And I thought everyone's received it well. All the comments so far have been nothing but positive about it. And yeah, I thought the little extra attention to detail was great too, like the breakable bottles and all the rest of it. Yeah, I thought they really added to it.
Oh yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, in the zombie this time, there was quite a few left over, and I was just running around holding them, just hitting people with them. It was a lot of fun to use those. But yeah, Jeff was his theory was after the first day, he thought he wasn't doing too well, so he didn't do too well in the awareness drill. So he just decided to come out guns blazing. And even though, like it's been said before, and even the series, it's probably not the best for self-defense, but geez, it made good viewing. Like it's very entertaining, and you poor guys on the receiving end.
I love a lot of the comments are along the lines of Jeff Chan woke up and chose violence. Like reading that just cracks me up every time I see it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is as well, people are going, oh, what, why is it considered excessive force? Why is Jeff losing points? They're going, the guy attacked him with a bottle. The guy didn't attack him with a bottle until much after that. So we need to clear that up. The initial attack on Matt, that was the one that was a lot of excessive force. And, maybe some of the others, it's debatable. But the first one throwing a shot when Matt's just speaking, and that was the one that we went for.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time justifying that one.
Yeah, even that. But I get why he did it. He felt threatened, so he could probably justify it. But again, highlight real stuff. And it was good having security. Like I was saying, Goran, he was one of the fake fighters, big 6'9", muscly dude that scared some people out of competing. It was good to have him in the cameos. And there's a lot of cameos, like Matt's in there. MJ was in there at the start. She comes in it later, and a few other familiar faces pop up. But Jeff did really well. Looked great, in my opinion. But in terms of self-defense, like ranking against the others, some of the others did a little bit better. So.
I do have to say, if we can pause it there for a sec, like when you're talking about the preemption, whether it was justified to throw the hit or not, in situations like that, it can pay to take a backward step, create that distance. We all know distance equals time. So we knew the scenarios were going to escalate anyway, but for the sake of trying to de-escalate, if you create that distance, maybe put something between yourself and the attacker, potentially could have gone the other way in a real life situation.
Yeah. And Jeff just came out guns blazing, and he wanted to. And you know what? I'm kind of glad he did, because this event, this episode is probably one of my favorite ones that we've done so far. Like,
Oh,
just the scenes and everything, really cool,
It was
and all
great.
fit in together well. Like, it pieced together really well.
And here is the second head kick I've copped from Jeff Chan for the week.
And Matt's there cheering. I love it. Matt's there screaming. That was pretty funny. But then he throws you into the wall. And Jeff was pumped. Like, that was
Yeah,
that was not
was,
put on, I
yeah.
don't believe. I think he got lost in the moment, which is cool.
No, I saw it in his eyes. I saw it in his eyes. It was as it was steaming towards me. I was like, he's lost. He thinks he's having flashbacks to the octagon, and I'm his opponent, and he's about to smash my head onto that canvas. It was nice to be able to feel like it's what it's like to be like on the other end of that, but also very, very scary.
That's right. And it said, your quote for this one, you've got some memorable quotes from season 1, but you said, I've switched sides or something.
Yeah.
But you've come back to you've come back to where, you've come back to us. Like, you're one of us. Like, you switched sides in the first one.
It's a double cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was good. Ranton is so athletic. His seminar greatly impressed me. Like, his seminar blew me away. Like, granted, would it help you fighting? I mean, being athletic helps you fighting. There were no sort of, I guess, self-defense techniques, but just his athleticism and his balance and all that stuff is really impressive. The guy's a good athlete. And I know,
really
Aaron, you were trying to do cartwheels at his seminar, so
not well.
Not quite as graceful as he does it.
No, definitely not.
But he was cool.
I really liked Renton. I felt like if I had to give an image to describe him, it's just like a Labrador puppy running through a field of like bright yellow flowers, just smelling every flower, but he doesn't know which one to smell. No matter where he goes, he's happy, he's cheering.
Yeah.
I threw those first couple of shots at him, and he just started laughing. I was like, what?
Yeah. And that's what I think of him is, he reminds me of the Joker. So perhaps in situations where he possibly shouldn't, he laughs, he smiles, and he's always got that big smile on his face. If you put that makeup on him, I think he'd look a lot like the Joker. And there's Aaron roofing him.
Yeah.
So we had to have some kind of, lesson situational awareness in amongst all of this, as well as all the general stuff, like to take it to another level. And I think this was a good one. Like, that was excessive force. Aaron turns around with 2 drinks in his hands and gets taken down. So anyone arguing that, there you go. But Ranton got a bit confused in it all, like what was part of it, what was just general conversations and things like that. So he got a bit confused, and it happens. First time doing
it. Just there with that strike on Ranton, I tried my best to really wind that up as much as I could. I was trying to replicate, I'm not trying to throw a good straight right. I'm trying to throw the kind of shots you would see in a pub. So I tried to give as much time to respond as I possibly could. Consciously.
Yeah. I think we both kind of like took your thing, like, for all the attackers, it was like, don't be a hero, just be a pub thug.
Yeah.
I think everyone did that pretty well.
Yeah, and that's the hard bit, because people get in there and go, it's my time to shine. And, there's some people that think, now I'm going to put on a show, the spotlight's on me. But in this scenario, unfortunately, like I've said before, we're just the stormtroopers. We're just extras, So what we do doesn't really matter as such, to a degree. I mean, it does matter. It could affect the competition. But, not going out of the way, not fighting your best, just going out there and fighting like a thug and throwing haymakers, giving them the opportunity to succeed. And you did it really well with Ranton. You gave him, plenty of opportunity there. And he was too busy laughing. So
yeah.
And I can't fault for that. Guy's happy. Good on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeff's giving him some advice here, which is much needed. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll pause it there. I love the bouncers. I love whenever they came in, I gave them like a little bit of an update. This person's coming in. This is their name. This is what they do. Say this to them, like, oh, is that Natan? Oh, you're my favorite fighter, and just like blow smoke up their ass, like make them feel really good. And, and it worked on like Jeff and Jesse were like, oh, really? You're watching my videos? And, Yeah, I'm not sure how Craig liked it. I got him to call him the Crocodile Hunter, Craig Crocodile Hunter, and he's like, yeah, whatever. But that didn't make the cut. But yeah, it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And even Natan said it was like it felt real.
Which I'd take that as a compliment.
And his striking is just such it's pinpoint.
This here, if we can pause it here, that there was visible confusion. Like, because what we were doing, like I was attacking Alex, and I think I was just on Alex, just throwing punches at Alex, and the idea was to sort of glance over every couple of seconds until, you know, either the bouncers jump in or when to jump in. And I turned around and I see Matt is just done. He's just taken out. And I did a double take. I was like, oh, right, I have to attack now. And then the Natan just clocked me in the head with this. Oh, that was a proper, good shot. Like anyone that doubts the power of the strikes of a UFC fighter, like, wow, that.
But aren't you invincible? Doesn't the protective gear make you invincible? That's what everyone says.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, of course.
You can walk through walls with that on, apparently.
Yeah.
No. Put them on and then comment, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Even that was a lot of effort. People don't realize as well. So I went and bought dowel and I painted half of it and sawed half of it, and so it would break like that over people. You know, because obviously we're not going to use a real pool cue. It's going to hurt someone. That's not what we're about. Whereas it still gave off that effect. And they're all the little attention to detail that I think made this series so much better. Like all those little things all added together. And yeah, this exchange is cool. Even my mate Lyle, he's the one, the DJ over there. It was just cool having him. And I'll pause it there. With Lyle as well, he's sitting there playing the music, and people at home probably will not know that there was no music playing. He was just pretending to. And then Ranton comes in and goes, turn that music down. Like it was pretty funny. It didn't make the cut, but yeah, all those little details I thought were awesome.
Oh, this here. So
he's just so sharp with his strikes.
If you pause it there, so that head kick right there. So yeah, that was a hard kick. And by this stage, that was the third head kick I'd taken.
That one,
yeah, that one. That was the third head kick I'd received in the space of 24 hours. And I was kind of lucky because he threw the punch first and I was on the way down. So the kick kind of came and glanced the top of my head. Whereas like if he hadn't have punched me first, it would have probably hit me square in the jaw.
Yeah.
But that kick, it kind of got me feeling like I was over getting kicked in the head. And it kind of influenced the decision I made for the next episode, which resulted in a moment that's probably going to be on the highlights for some people.
Yeah, and it looked like it got you in the top of the head, maybe the temple. So it's a good, solid kick. Yeah, it was good.
Trust me, it was
good. And good for the show.
This response you're about to see from me is one of genuine fear. I'm genuinely begging for my life, but he didn't care to hear that.
I was laughing when I heard that.
And there's his fake sip.
But what, like...
And that was good. That was good. Calling security over, like, you know, that earned him extra points. That, I mean, you were still active. You were still fighting, so no dramas there.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, the speed that he throws those shots, it's like, you know, when you watch The Flash, how, like, everyone stops in time while he's going and doing everything. Like, that's what it was like, because, I don't know, Matt, you can probably attest to this. In my head, I'm thinking, all right, throw a jab cross. And, you know, while my hand's about here, I've already been hit like twice or three times. Like it legitimately felt like I was moving in slow motion and he was the Flash just going it like that quick.
Yeah, very fast. Very, very fast. And eye-opening for me of what the human body is capable of.
Yeah.
On the other end of that.
And this is funny too, where Natan is just planting that seed of doubt in Jordan's head constantly. He decided right from the start, like I was oblivious to this. In the interviews after, And then it all became apparent. I pieced together everything that happened. I was like, oh, of course. Like, and it's, yeah, I really like this banter. That was the thing. Season 1 was all friendly banter and things like that. I love the competitiveness. I love the killer instinct. I really appreciated that side of things, and it was cool. Natam was cool.
He's a really cool guy, and he's funny. Like, he's not known as a funny guy, but the way he sort of does that, you know, the banter, like, it makes it funny. Like, people want to see more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes, Jesse surprised me. Jesse
Me
is
too.
very strong. You know,
Yeah.
he's not like Karate Nerd doesn't do it justice for what he is. He's actually a weapon, you know.
Yeah. I was definitely taken by surprise by Jesse. I hadn't watched a lot of him. I watched a couple of videos here and there. Wasn't super into his content, but even the way he had a lot of good soft skills as well. Like he had the verbal de-escalation that he did, and he gets a good throw on me in this interaction, which really, like, after that throw, I was just thinking, like, this guy's a serious unit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally the same. Even his seminar when he's going through his punches, you know, just how sharp they were and the speed behind it and the snap. I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And I've got a newfound respect for karate after all these shows. And I'm not like, you know, there's certain styles of karate that I always had respect for, like Kyokushin and things like that, the harder styles. But even this stuff, you know, it's great. But that was a good example just there that I think Rokas addresses later. I'll let it go. But again, this sort of emphasizes our training somewhat and why we do what we do. Now, people that do combative, self-defense, whatever, you know, reality-based, I hate using that term, but, you know, it seems to be thrown around a bit, gets criticized because, oh, it's not real, the fighting. But that little mistake that Jesse made, like turning his back and being on the ground with Matt, which enabled Aaron to come back up and punch him in the back of the head, you know, they're the kind of things, the missing links that people who do MMA and various other things need to learn. And this is why, like, all this stuff about Craig, who, you know, we'll talk about later, why he's so successful. He's got that stuff down pat. And that's a product of, you know, his life and the experiences he's had, but also the training he did with us. You know, we're constantly doing drills, not the same as this, but drills similar, you know, without this production value, where there are things in the environment that you need to consider, where there are additional people hanging around and stuff like that. So what we do trains those attributes and things like that, and people brush over them. But this is why Craig is, you know, still in the competition. It's because of those things. You know, he knows that.
I
So,
like
the
that
bounces.
distinction.
Sorry?
I like that distinction Jesse made there.
And yeah, even that, like karate fighter, but he's doing MMA. Or I guess everything looks like MMA once it turns.
But
turns
not
up.
even that. Even groin shots. Like, I just saw 2 groin shots in the space of about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I think he threw the most groin shots out of all the contestants, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did too in some of the coming events. He was very groin hungry. There's a shot to the back of the head. But yeah, he did well. Now the last 2, Big George. And I really appreciated his honesty. Like when he made mistakes, he owned them. You know, he didn't blame anyone. He didn't carry on. He's just like, lesson learned.
Well,
and now they're talking about Rantum when, the stick broke. So Adam went to swing the stick and it broke. I saw that one a little bit too much. That's my bad. And as he swung it, it just snapped. So wanted to make sure I didn't hurt people. But yeah, that was probably a little bit overkill.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, are people really going to care that one stick broke before it was meant to make contact? Like,
I do. I think it ruined the whole thing for me. I'll never watch it again.
From the comments I've seen, people are very pedantic about the minor things and ignore the learning that's happening in there. But let them. That's a good takedown, but again, he's on the ground, multiple attackers with, the back of his head there showing. And when, you're allowed to do what we do, it's not advisable in that sort of situation. That was a good shot by Adam, straight across the head. He's got Alex laid out on the table.
I think even there, could we actually rewind and watch that little bit again, Jeff? Just after that first. I think that right there, like, right, he got taken from surprise by behind, but he did end up putting himself in a good position through a basic jiu-jitsu concept. Like, he shot for an underhook, he carried that momentum through here, right? Just underhook, and just play a little bit.
Let's see. So here, so this is the thing. If I go a little bit further, he's got his back to old mate, that's just got the pool cue. So he's taken his eyes off one attacker, and probably should have stood back a bit so he could see both people, particularly in that sort of heated situation. But keep going, Matt.
So hit the play button. Like, he gets taken by surprise, but he does get that underhook, and he could have used that to get to a position where he could have pushed off. He decided to engage and kind of tangle up like this. But I think that shows how, like, jiu-jitsu does have good concepts you could use. You just have to know how to use them, and that you don't necessarily want to tangle up all the time. If he got that underhook, shot off, used that momentum, and then pushed to get some distance, great. But he did decide to tangle up there, which led to what we saw. I think that's how you show, like, you got jiu-jitsu. If you mix it with good situational awareness, that's when you get a good system. Jiu-jitsu only by itself, only using jiu-jitsu principles, not always necessarily the best.
Yeah, and particularly if you train without strikes, as soon as you add strikes to the mix, it takes out a lot of the jiu-jitsu curriculum. When you put in other things as well, it then takes more away. But like you said, it has a lot of good concepts that you can use if you're fighting one person. Absolutely. If you work in certain professions where you're not allowed to strike, it has its validity. But in terms of not many schools, I think, A, do striking, and B, do that situational awareness, because, you'd see his attention go that way while there was someone standing there, and then he turned that way and took his eye off that, just those little things. That's the kind of stuff that we deal with, positioning and all that. It would have been good to see him strike as well, though, actually, because he is he's had 10 MMA fights, so he tried to go in with a purist, which I like as a purist, just using his BJJ, but then in this setting, it's not enough. It's just not enough.
I do think, though, this couch part, like, he had control over both of us. I don't know about you, Matt, but I physically could not get up. Like, here, like, and I don't know how he did it. He just had us pinned and we just couldn't get up.
Yeah, I still think you could have hurt him from that position, though. Like, for one man to hold two people down, it's hard enough for one person to hold one person down. But I just think if you guys really wanted to, you could have hurt him from there if it was a real situation, for sure. Like, even that was pulled, but I think you almost
that was
kicked
cool.
Darren. But yeah, strong dude, very strong guy.
Very strong, absolutely.
And he's not 70 kilos like they say. He was 90 plus.
I was 70 kilos.
Yeah, he's very solid. He bulked up for the show, actually, he told me.
All right.
There's that comment again, the adrenaline like the fight.
Yeah, which is good. It means we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'd take it as a compliment.
Here it is, Craig. Now, one thing I'm going to pause it there on Craig for a sec, because we need to clarify some things about Craig. Now, is Craig the regular person? He hasn't had zero training. So the regular person doesn't refer to zero training. And I've said this, like, people don't listen. People, maybe they just don't watch my stuff. I don't know. But we've said this many a time. Craig's probably trained about, 10 years with us? He'd be pushing 10 years. Be pretty close to.
The way I put it, he's done probably 12 to 18 months of training, but spanned out over the space of about 8 years.
Yeah. And in that time as well, he's had an active interest in all the soft skills, because he taught our kids classes, having 3 daughters himself. And you know, we were always having conversations, and I know you were as well with him about all those things that he tried to teach, you know, have a focus of the soft skills for the kids classes, which makes total sense. And so he really explored that. And that's, you know, part of the reason why he's able to do all this stuff. So he's not a guy that's been sitting on the couch all day doing nothing. He is pretty physical. He's a strong guy. When I went to lace up the gloves at the end for the, you know, the run of the mill or the King of the West, I could barely do him up because his forearms are so big. So he's a big, strong guy. He's got a lot of life experience. Plus, he's, you know, been involved. Like, we talk all the time. You know, even when he's not training and he's moved out of the area, we're still friends. We still talk about this stuff. We still send each other videos and things like that. So he's not a slouch. He's not, you know, is he average? If you compare him to people like Jeff Chan, who's training, you know, twice a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 3 days. Craig's training twice a month. But yeah, the focus of his training has been the soft skills. So that's why he did so well. Like, this is one thing we commonly talk about, not accepting drinks off people. You know, particularly having daughters, it's one thing he stresses to them as well. Like, you know, you don't want your daughters at pubs and clubs taking drinks off strangers because, you know, it's so many horror stories. And he came up with a good idea that, you know, he's going to get breath tested so he can't drink. Beautiful. Now, people say that we went easy on Craig. I think you threw a shot faster on Craig than you did anyone else, Matt. There was less conversation and more swinging.
Right. Yeah. I definitely, in my mind, was consciously thinking, don't go easy on Craig, which might have even resulted in me going a little bit less easy on Craig in terms of how fast I did that. So I was very conscious of the thought that Craig trains at our gym, so I don't want to make it easier for him. And I think in that process, I might have made it a bit harder even. That was pretty fast now that I watch it.
And that's what happens. Like, I know as a basketball coach, if my kids are in the team, I've played them less than they deserve to be played because I don't want to see him as, you know, having nepotism. And, you know, that was one thing throughout this. People were going at Craig. Like, our guys were going at Craig. No one, like, I think people went harder at Craig, if I'm honest, because in this exchange here between Aaron and Craig, you were hesitant to get involved with Natan like this, but Craig, you just jumped straight in. And I think that was across the board. So, you know, all that talk about, oh, Craig had it easy, please.
This here, self-defense 101.
Yeah.
Like, I think, well, he explains it well. Like, if you're in a bar and, you know, that has an inkling to go south, just get out.
Yeah. You know? This helped him, but it also hindered him in later events. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying whether he did well or not, but doing things like that, you know, it is the right thing to do in self-defense. Is it the right thing to do for the show? Maybe not. That's why we dragged him back in and made him fight again. He pulled out the pen. I guess the people on the receiving end didn't realize they were getting hit with a pen, so I had to yell out. Alex comes in and puts the boot in. This was cool. I love this bit. I love this bit.
If we can pause this. So my game plan with the bottle was to just, you know, have an aggressive throwaway line, smash the bottle, and then just start throwing punches. I think where he was positioned, I don't think he was close enough for me to start teeing off on him. And he actually created the distance quicker than I could start, you know, attacking.
Yeah.
And this here was great. Like, when he said, oh, let's put down the chairs and scrap, like, I almost broke character for a sec. I thought, you know what, I have to respect that.
Yeah. And, you know, and I like it too. It's an old school mentality. This is the way men used to handle business back in the day. These days, not so much. But so, yeah, I appreciated that too. And he was fast. He jumped up and the chair's in his hands, like, instantly. Like, it was very impressive.
I do have to say, like, you know, in a real situation, you don't know if the other person's going to just pick the chair up again. So, you know, it might have been, he could have done the dishonest approach and been like, oh, let's put the chairs down. And then as soon as I put my chair down, he throws his chair at me and runs like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was sort of expecting. But then when he said, put him down, have a scrap, I thought, no, I have to respect that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Let's do it.
Cool moment and a typical Craig moment.
But I was not prepared for just like, I thought we were going to dance around for a couple of seconds, but he was like, before I'd even register, he was already on me. Like, and yeah, as we see here, he just dominated that. It was a complete one-sided fight.
He had the indexing and just going to town, teeing off on your head.
Yeah, once he had that tie clinch, yeah, here, like,
couple of knees. I'm sitting there thinking, oh yeah, and I just like this bit, like he was.
Well, so that, if we pause it there again, so I was planning on getting up, to have another go, but I think I must have, I don't know, for some reason I've done it too early, and he's picked up on that straight away. So, okay, the kick, it could be argued is excessive, but the initial, like when he's hit me as I'm trying to grab him, like that's spot on. Like, the threat's not finished, so keep going.
But even the kick, you're getting to your feet, so the threat's still there. So I would award that, and I think we did.
I don't really. I don't know. It all happened pretty quick, so I'm not really.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's the thing. We had a judging panel. That's what people need to understand. Like, same as last time, we had a judging panel. So it's been a little bit different because I'm not copying the hate that I did last time. I thrive on hate, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But yeah, we had a panel just like last time, a group of people who decided this. And so if you go to point fingers, you got to point your whole hand because there was quite a few of us there actually.
Yeah.
Unloading worst security ever. He's got so many one-liners that could make memes. It's not funny. So
he's just a walking meme.
He is, and he's good value. Like to actually, I don't like patting myself on the back, but getting Craig into it was just the best thing. And
yeah,
I'm not sure how Kev would have went. Like Kev did a little bit of training with us leading up to it, and Kev's a big, strong athlete and things like that. But just the mindset that Craig has, I'm not sure. I don't know how Kev would have fared, but Craig was just perfect replacement. Couldn't ask for a better replacement.
Well, I think with Kev, like the aggression is there. Like when I was training him, I could see the aggression, but I hadn't seen it pitted against someone else who was also aggressive. So
yeah,
it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
That was a pretty decent block of the pool cue there.
Yeah. I remember coming over here trying to get him away from the DJ table. I didn't want to ruin my friend's DJ booth. The pen makes it hard to score. I'm not going to lie. It added a level of complexity. But that's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, improvised weapons, avoided danger, kept that distance.
I think as well, even just the ability to recognize at the end there that I wasn't a threat and he can walk away. Like in the moment, amongst all that, making that decision, who can I justify punching and who can I not justify punching? I think also shows that he has that skill set by not laying me out right there at the end.
I think also, like, what you do to the first person, I guess it does send that message to the others, like, oh, okay, this guy means business. We don't want this. Like I always think of that Jack Reacher scene, where he says, like, if I take out the leader, the two followers, the last two guys always run. Like that's,
I
won't say spot on, but there's some merit to that.
Oh, like it. I'm going to shut up now. I don't want to give spoilers away, but some of the actions that people did made attackers a bit reluctant. I'll just say that. So, going through the scores, I clearly thought Craig was the best. Closely followed, I think, was Natan the next best? I can't remember. I was unsure whether he actually sipped it or not, and clearly there you can see that he did. And then Craig did brilliantly. Like there wasn't too much you could fault about his performance, so he clearly deserved that. And if Craig does happen to win, people are going to lose their minds. The martial arts community. But that's one thing that was said in the last one. We're talking about fitness, and Dave, who was on there, said he's never seen fitness win a fight. Now, I don't entirely agree with that sentiment, but we saw Craig there, who's the least fit out of the group, do the best. So maybe there is something in that.
I
And
think
here we go, the police scenes, which police interview. We actually wanted people to verbalize what they did because it's leading up to there's one of the cameos, there's MJ, the court scene that we did. Now,
if I can comment on this, Jeff. So
let's not talk about the court scene because I think that's next session.
No,
this
not
is
the
police
court scene. Just, I guess they kind of tie hand in hand. But when it comes to statements, obviously the lawyer approach. Oh, there's Craig having a beer during his interview.
Yep,
good form. Like the lawyer argument, like the lawyer approach is smart. But when it comes to eventually, you're going to have to tell your side. And as a general rule, if you can downplay your actions and upplay your attacker's actions, that can go a long way. And it's just in how you word things. So like, if your attacker grabs, your attacker is grabbing you, whereas you are taking hold of the person. Your attacker will tackle you to the ground, whereas you will reposition them to the floor. So there's ways you can word things to change how you're perceived. And you're not lying. You're putting things in your experience.
Yeah, I bring it back to Sparky. Shout out to Sparky, who would be great in the series. But he was he would tell me about a time he went to investigate a domestic violence case, and he said that in that domestic violence case, it was the woman was the perpetrator, not the man. When they came to investigate the man, and everyone was there for the interview, all the cops, he was like, "Oh no, I wasn't scared," and he was really like his ego came out. He was a bit, bravado. Where had he stopped and said, "Hey, yeah, she's been doing this, that, and the other," he would have had a case. But because he didn't, he lost that case. And they couldn't charge the woman because of what he said. So that's what I was trying to get through to people to articulate what actually happened and how they worded and the communication and things they use, like you were saying, can influence, the outcome. And that's what I was trying to achieve. So didn't go as according to plan, but you live and learn, and that's what this is about. You try different things and some pay off and some don't. Here's Craig talking about the KO. He KO'd Sam. He felt really bad about it, but
that's where he allegedly used the word dummy.
Yeah, and someone got offended at that. They're saying that's very unprofessional to say dummy. They thought that Sam said to Craig, "You're already out, dummy," and they were again bagging on us, saying, "Oh, it's not very professional." I mean, people are punching people in the head, and you're worried about the word dummy.
Craig used the various.
There's Irish. Oh yeah, I'm gonna drag that back a bit because this man deserves a bit of a shout out here.
Irish, what a character.
So he's the guy who provided us the house, the fighter's house. He's also done quite a bit of PR for the series, and just a good guy to have on board. And
he brought some awesome energy to the entire event.
Yeah, it was good to have him around. He was a good addition and very generous to give us. Yeah, there he is, standing with his D12 shirt on over here. He let us use the house and was so hospitable to us, and we owe him for that. If I've said it to him a million times, but thanks Irish, legend. And up next, the Shank Tank. Shank Tank's great. Shank Tank. Boy. Oh, what's going on there? We'll have to talk about that one next week. Some really good footage in this too. Some viral moments.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So have you got anything to say before we finish off? Any further comments?
I love this little psych out sesh.
Yeah.
Funny that, because I think we were either in the back room or in the courtyard when they were doing these, and I heard the noise, and I thought, what the hell is going on here? Like even we thought, like, this isn't a physical challenge. What's going on? Like, So yeah, it was a nice touch. I liked it.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Any final comments?
Final comments. I think obviously Craig did really well in that challenge, and I think for me, it goes to show how if we're someone who considers himself like you want to be someone who can defend yourself, but you don't necessarily have the ability to quit your full-time job, completely abandon your 4 children that you have at home, and just ignore your wife for the rest of your life because you got to go to the gym 7 hours a day. It is possible to just like train a lot of soft skills so you have that awareness, be relatively decent in striking, and have good grappling skills without dedicating your entire life to it. And I think Craig is really someone who shows that, he's got those physical skills down to a degree that is necessary to deal with your average person. And then the soft skills close the rest of that gap. And sometimes those soft skills closing that gap is even more important than being able to throw a spinning back kick, right? Sometimes those soft skills are what you need. And Craig really showed how that can up your performance in a really unpredictable and dynamic situation like that. So spinning back kicks are cool, Superman punches are cool, but sometimes it's the simpler stuff that you really need to worry about.
It's starting to become more evident in the series. That's what I like. So people's martial arts blinkers are coming off. Even Jordan, we did a media thing the other night, and he said that he thought, just doing his BJJ is enough. And he basically said that, yeah, you do need to add those other elements to it. So people are starting to see what they can get from this sort of training and recognize it. If it's good, obviously there's a lot of people out there that don't do it well, but those that do it well have a lot to offer. And my final words are there's 2 things that's irritating me through this series. Number 1, Natan's name is Natan. It's not Nathan. Stop calling him Nathan. And Craig's name is Craig, Craig. It's not Greg. His name is Craig. So please get that right, because it's starting to piss me off. I can't imagine how those 2 are feeling about it, because it's irritating me and it's not at me. So let's get that right. And for all those people out there that tune in and watch this, thanks for watching. And 2 questions are being put up now. If you want that autographed shirt at the end of the 6 episodes, you got to write down all those questions and send it through to us. And first one to do that wins an autographed shirt. So thanks again, guys, for joining me. It's always a pleasure. And thank you, because again, I'm going to stress this. Without you guys, this thing doesn't happen. And you guys are just as big a part of this as the actual contestants, if not bigger, because we're there. Over the years, we've been drilling this stuff. We've been trialing this stuff. Your input is huge in this. Like, I can't underestimate how much that, you guys contribute to it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Jeff. Thanks for all your knowledge and everything you do, because without you, we don't do any of this. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.